Hello everyone, it is time to start our 9th part in 7th grade tech. Now with our 9th part, the part itself, as you can see right here, the part itself isn't necessarily the hardest thing in the world. Some of the numbers I know are not whole numbers, not the most simple, but we do have to practice typing in numbers to the thousandths place, as you can see here. Other than that though, the part itself is not the challenge. The challenge here is going to be within the actual drawing, because we are not having our front, top, and our right side view as well as our isometric. In this case, we're having our front, top, and then an auxiliary view, which just means looking at it from a different viewpoint. So we are looking down on this angle as we are looking at this angled piece to identify the circle. This tool utilizes the extrude and sketch combination features as well as our chamfer. The hardest part, like I said, will be within the dimension. Moving into that, we're going to start on our front view. And we are going to start with our line tool. I personally think the line tool is easier in this drawing. So we're going to start with a 7-inch line. This is going to go up 2 inches. Zoom out just a little bit so everyone can see. Now what I don't have is I don't have this length here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily draw a line that goes across. A little portion in here is going to be removed using our trim tool. I'll show you that in a little bit. The next thing we're going to do is draw a line at any angle. It doesn't really matter yet because we have to dimension that. And it's going to be at 8.85 inches. And we're now going to dimension this angle. So I'll select the line and I'll select the line next to it. I'm going to dimension this to 45 degrees. And again, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit more. Now I know this thickness is going to be 2 inches. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw a line. And it will not connect to this line, so please don't make it connect. I'm going to draw a line that will be 8.022 inches. Now the reason why I did not want you to draw this line and snap it is I did not want it to snap to the end. If it snapped to the end, one would not be a 90-degree angle. And you can see this is a 90-degree angle based on the icon right above my arrow right here. You will see that this is in fact a 90-degree angle. You may notice that your line may be blue. If your line is blue, grab your dimension tool and dimension this angle here to 90 degrees. I already have mine. If I did that, it would create an error, so I'm not going to. The last thing we have to do is this little piece here. We have to remove that. If we don't remove it, it may still work, but it can cause errors down the line, so we do want to remove it. All we do is we press the trim tool, which is a pair of scissors, and just like a regular pair of scissors, we just cut that little piece off. Okay. Once it's done, we have our part. We're going to extrude this to 6 inches. And we are going to do this symmetric. We're going to make this symmetric because we do want to utilize the front plane here as a little middle boundary, I guess, moving forwards. So there's the basis of our part. The next step, try to keep it easy, is we're going to drill 2 holes in here. If we take a look at our top view, and I closed my my actual drawing out. I apologize for that. But if you look at the top view, there are going to be 2 circles, both of them. The diameter is going to be 1.5 inches. They're going to be centered top to bottom, looking at it this way, which is why I made sure we kept it symmetrical. And they're going to be spaced. First one here will be 2 inches from the right-hand side at a diameter of 1.5 inch. So I'm going to draw the first circle. Then I'll dimension it to 2 inches from the edge. Now I'm going to draw my other circle. And I was using my quick command there, so I didn't have to go and click back up at the top to grab my center's point circle. And the distance between the center of these 2 circles will be 3 inches. Now one comment I probably should have made on our previous drawing, the flange. As you're putting your dimensions in, I do recommend that, initially you do have to just place them down, but I do recommend moving them so you can actually see all your dimensions. It does just make it a whole heck of a lot easier as we get into more complex drawings like this one. I'm going to extrude, remove these two holes. In other words, I'm drilling a hole all the way through, and I'm going to go with the through all feature. Just make it nice and easy. Green check. So now we have our outside shape for the most part and our circle. The only thing we're missing is the rounded edge on the top and our circle up at the top. So we're going to select this surface, create a sketch, and I'm going to use my right cursor, or the right side of my touchpad, and I'm going to drag this to be in about the right point I want. Now I can rotate it using these arrows here. I can subtly rotate and twist everything. This is one of those situations where you're not going to be perfectly in view, sadly. I do wish there was a way to be perfectly in view. I just have not found one yet. Once I look at this piece though, I will take my center point circle. I am going to draw a circle with a diameter of 3 inches right in the middle. So left to right, it will be in the middle. I use my reference line down at the bottom to make sure it was in the center. I'm going to grab my dimension tool, and I'm going to dimension from the center of the circle down to this little crease here. And that is going to be 5.022 inches. The next thing I'm going to do is grab a center point circle, and I am going to create a 6-inch circle. Now, the reason now that there is no dimension on this one on the actual drawing is because it's kind of implied that this is going to be a 6-inch circle as it meets the whole thickness of your part. When I say the whole thickness of your part, from left to right on this rectangle, the depth that we added in our extrusion was 6 inches, therefore this would have to be a 6-inch diameter circle. So when I click the center of my previous circle that I just drew, I will drag out and I will snap to the edge. So this icon that pops up is called tangent. Tangent is when there is a circle that meets another line, does not intersect the circle, meaning go through the circle, but it just bumps right up. So the edge of the circle bumps right up to the line. I'm going to click that, and we're pretty much done. All we have is one last piece. So we're not trying to remove the donut between these two pieces, right? We're trying to remove this top section. So we're going to grab our line tool. We're going to start and essentially just play connect the dots, where we're going to select the edge of the circle where we made it meet with the left edge of our piece. We're going to go up to our top left corner, to our right, and down. Now, all we need to do is remove this bottom half of the circle. So we're going to do that with our good old friend, trim tool. Now when we go through and extrude, we're going to extrude this inside circle, meaning extrude remove, we're going to remove the inside circle, and we're going to remove these two little triangle circle pieces, I guess, up at the top, left and right. So I'm going to grab my extrude tool, go to remove. I'm going to change my view back to isometric just so I can see everything. And I'm going to change it from blind to through all. Once I do that, I'll press my green check. Bada bing, bada boom. The last thing we have to do is our chamfer. Our chamfer is going to be done at a distance of 0.125. I did notice a lot of us were not changing our distance first. Please change your distance first before you select any piece. Okay. And chamfer just these 3 holes here just to smooth them off, and we're going to leave it just like that. Now when we are done, we're going to go to our drawing. We're going to create a drawing. Now when we insert our piece, we're going to insert our top view, and we're going to insert our front. I said that backwards. We're going to insert our front and our top view. Apologies for the bell. And what we're going to do is we are going to select auxiliary view. Now in auxiliary view, what it says is you have to choose against essentially a line or a angle that you're going to follow. Now I'm going to follow this angle here in this direction, which will end up showing us our piece on an angle, tilted, but showing that this piece here is actually flat. With our auxiliary view inserted, what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to dimension a few different lines. First couple lines I'm going to dimension here. Let's see why it won't let me select it. First couple lines I'm going to dimension here are going to be our generic lines, like our 7-inch, our 2, the generic lines that we have used for the drawing. Okay. I'm going to do the inside of my circle. Now, one problem that I did notice a lot of people did in the last drawing is they were dimensioning the outside circle. The outside circle is the chamfer. The inside circle is the actual dimension of the hole. Now I'm going to dimension from edge to edge, 2-inch, from circle to circle. And if you want to add this dimension in, you can. You can, in fact, throw in the radius here of 3. Now, obviously, we know the diameter would be 2 times 3, 6, right? So I implied it, I left it there, but I'll throw the dimension in, and that will be in Teams for you guys. All right. Next thing on the dimension list is going to be our angle here for this line that we drew. I'm going to put that angle in down towards the end, actually. I'm going to select from here to the end as well, and then again on the inside. Now, sometimes I will admit it is kind of difficult to get these angle dimensions in. And I also know I'm working with a little bit of an advantage as well with having my touchpad not be a mess. So I've got that. I don't see anything else that I need to add in. The only thing we will need to add to finish off this drawing here is going to be our chamfer dimension. Now, our chamfer dimension is only going to be used on these 3 pieces. You can end up putting it on here, or you can put it on here. It does not really matter which view. I'm actually going to do, let's see, let's maybe do this on our front view with our hidden lines visible. I'm going to try this here. I'm going to select my angled line, and we'll see it there. Now, when I'm fitting this in, I need to make sure this angle is actually in a spot that makes sense, or the arrow, rather, is in a spot that makes sense. Anytime you go and you see a drawing and you see this icon, that does always mean a chamfer. So that should be a little bit of common sense thrown in there, but again, we do need to make sure it is visible. Other than that, turn this in, have a good rest of your day, and I will put this in Teams for you to follow this.